Well, everybody, our next concept comes here where we'll be talking about the relationship between the components in order to share the data. So when two components wants to share the data with each other, so how they will be doing it, this is something which I would like to see. And the concept coming up here is called without service. If components wants to communicate with each other, how they will be doing it. So in this way, I'll be having one child component and the parent component. Okay, so I can consider it my app component.ts. I can make it as a parent component, and the child component I can make is called footer component. Okay, so in my app component footer component.ts, I can define one property here. Okay, let's define one property and give the name called user info. Okay, this value I'm giving it of user info called dummy data. So user info is just a property, I'm defining it here. Okay, and I'm commenting it all. And I'm defining call user info. So I'm saying user info. Okay, so this user info, I would like to use it in my application. Okay, and to access this, I want to make sure in my app component.html I provide this. Sorry, I think I think I can provide it here. App footer here. So you can see the dummy data is shown. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so app footer is the one which is a child of app component, and it is having one field name called user info that is displayed here. But I want the value of this footer, which is user info, should be accessible and changed by parent. And who's the parent of footer is my app component. So this is the one which I needed now. And how can I do this? So in my app component.html, okay, so I want to provide some data. So in my TS I can give, what's the property name? Title equal to my pro. So this title value I would like to make it available. So here I say equal to, and what is the property name here? Is also user info. So I will try to access it here like this. User info equal to title. That means my footer contains a property called user info. That value I'm passing it with the help of this title, and the title which value contains my pro. And let's check, and you can see instantly there's an outcome which says like user info is not a known property. You see, it is saying user info is not a known property of app footer, but if I see, it does contain this property user info, which I feel can be better. So what I can do in such cases? So friends, in such cases, once again I need to go back and look forward for some opportunities. And what opportunity I'm looking forward for? This child component property, if you want to be accessed by the parent, remember we have got very special annotation available name called @input. So using this @input, you see it is a part of your Angular core. By making it annotated by @input, you are actually telling that this value can be accepted from its parent. And now you can see the value is changed to what? MyPro, which is the TS value of this. So if I change to what? MyPro 2, you see it is changing. So the child component is accepting the value of parent and changing the way they want it, and that makes a huge difference. Okay, so I'm sure that at least you are in position to get the flow out of what this is really doing it. Clear? So we have got @input to pass the value. So the way we have got @input where the parent is passing the data to the child, if you want to do other way around, like if you want value to parent passed by the child, so in such cases we have a other way around options that is called @output. So what is @output is? @output is a decorator, is used it's basically designed to pass the data from child to parent component. Okay, so you do it using emitter, which is called event emitter. How to do this? Let's take a look. So what we do is, here in my child class, I'm defining one property here called my output. Okay, my output. Okay, and I'm making it as a type of what? Event emitter. Okay, equal to new of event emitter, and it is a part of Angular core. And I'm just saying what this is of type what? Output. See, it is a part of Angular core again. So this has becomes what? My new event called my output. It is my new event. Okay, and under my ng on init, I would like to call this by saying log or whatever it is, or leave it, we can do it little later on. Okay, so I'm just creating my output equal to what? New of event emitter, is just providing it. Okay, so I'm sure that you're clear about what we're doing, and here we can define one message here called out message equal to it's a child component, just a message. Okay, this is known as called what? Output message. So this is your event emitter name called my output. Now in my code, okay, now in my code, whatever the values we are giving it, I would like to use it. So I'm creating one custom function here. Okay, and the custom function name is called send data and this send data, I'm saying output message, whichever I'm having it now. Okay, but first value is called what? My output. My output dot emit, and here we are saying the message. The message name is called what? Out message. This dot out message. So this custom function, I would like to invoke the send data from my HTML. So here with this click event, I'm calling it send data. Okay, now how I basically try to pass this data from my parent to child. So to make this possible, what I'll be doing it now, here in my app component.ts, let me create a new function here. Okay, with this normal message whichever we are basically using it now. Okay, so I'm defining one call from parent. It is a typical function for me, call from parent, and here we're saying log. Here we're passing some data, so here we're saying console.log data. Okay, so a very simple message, and in my HTML, in my app component.html, the function is called call from parent. So here, this is my child component, and here we are using which type of event? Everyone, I'm saying the event name is of footer.component.html is called what? Call my output. I go here and provide this my output equal to the local function name is what? Call from parent, and in this I'm passing dollar event object. So this is how the moment you invoke the event object, so the data whichever from the child component you are having it, okay, will be passed back to whom? To my parent. Let's check this out. Here you see it's a child component. So this message called it's a child component, you're passing the data to whom? To the parent. So the parent is printing this data where whatever is received from its child to the parent. Okay, so that's where it is a very simple and straightforward concept of how the data can be passed from parent to child and the child to parent. So when you talk about called communication, okay, so normally what happens, we always use service. You see, we always use what? A service. But service is used when both the components wants to have the same data which comes from the backend. But here the challenge thing is, if components wants to communicate with each other, okay, because that's what the relationship is coming up between header footer, app and main app and header footer, so that they can share the data. That's what the main advantage of establishing the relationship, so that you can make it the complete flow far more easier and sustainable, because reusability is always called the primary concern when it comes to the Angular based application. And here using this input, okay, where the parent passes the data to the child, and using output where the child passes the data to the parent, you have successfully achieved with this development.